Alhikmat Dawah Services is offering a Ramadan Umrah trip visiting Medina and Mecca on May 11th to May 20th, 2019. Group will be led by Shaikh Shafayat with an approximate cost of $24.95 per person, departing from Miami, Florida, inshallah. If you are interested in this package, please contact Alhikmat Dawah Services at USA Office 954-986-0158 or our Trinidad office 868-325-8276, or you can email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com. Alhikmat 2019 tours from Miami, Florida to a 7-day Jerusalem tour, February 17th to February 23rd, visiting holy sites of the 3 Abrahamic religions. Umrah in Ramadan, visiting Mecca and Medina, 10-day tour from May 11th to May 20th. And finally, Dubai and India, 10-day tour from October 13th to October 23rd, visiting Taj Mahal, historic Islamic sites, and many, many more. The group will be led by Shaikh Shafayat. Contact Alhikmat office at 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158, or you can email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com. Alhikmat Tours and Travel Services now offers visa processing services to any country, also offering Umrah trips, Dubai and India tours, and many other countries. For more details, you can contact Alhikmat Dawah Services at 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158, or you can also email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com.
All praises are due to Allahu Allah. All praises are due to Allahu Allah. Allahu 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 Allah. Allahu.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you would like to dedicate copies of one of these publications as Sadaqah Jariyah, continuous blessings for your parents or dear ones who have passed away, or fi sabilillah, in the path of Allah, please give us a call so we can place your names on these dedicated publications. You can call us at 954-986-0158, or you can also visit us at www.alhikmat.com.
Allah is the creator of different faces. Allah is the creator of all races. Allahu, 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 Allah.
Since 9/11, there has been a great fear of Islam.
We need Muslims, I always say, to speak up in this country.
Much of our Islamic community is perceived to be insular.
Most Americans have never met a Muslim or are not aware of having met a Muslim.
Most people don't have enough education in terms of what the entirety of Islam represents.
It's very easy to hate someone or to put stereotypes on people that you've never interacted with.
But do you think if Muslims were more integrated in society, in America, in the United States of America, then there would have been less anti-Muslim scenario?
I think it's even more important that our clergy speak up. They are, after all, the moral force in our community.
You see, the Islam that is celebrated is one which opens its doors.
Having this type of dialogue in terms of a community outreach, or
Something that Muslims have to do is go out just like you do and inviting non-Muslims to the iftar. And you do a lot of speaking to mixed groups.
We have to change the language from us versus them to a language of we.
I believe that if we can stand together against the forces of hatred and be unified in this country, then we can do wonderful things.
Bringing us together to enhance the beauty of humankind.
I think religion can be such a powerful force for unity.
Of course.
We've made it into this powerful force for disunity.
Keep trying to understand each other and care for each other and keep building a world community, because I believe that's what God wants for us all.
And I'm in their mosques and they're in my temple, and It's been a phenomenal experience. I've had a very warm and welcoming experience from all the brothers and sisters in the community.
That every human being is either your brother in faith or brother in humanity.
In Arabic, the word is lita'arafu, so that you will learn to understand one another.
And this is the truth of what it should be. You see, this is why I am so pleased to come here today, to support the work of Alhikmat.
The kind of intolerance and the violence that we see across the globe is rooted in ignorance, which we can overcome by teaching.
Yes.
Also
yes.
rooted in fear, which we can overcome by experiencing, where we can actually live in each other's presence. You know, it's rooted in this myopic kind of my way only, rather than this understanding that maybe all of us have more in common, and at the core of who we are is this truly global family that we belong to.
I'd like to say what a joy and pleasure it is to have Shaikh Shafayat as my friend, as my teacher, as my co-worker in the vineyard of Allah, God, where we work together to make this world a better place, to do God's work, to do the work which we are commanded to do as human beings.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Who is Who in America on Alhikmat TV 24/7 online. It is indeed a pleasure, a privilege and honor to have with us in Alhikmat studio Mr. Yasir Billo. And Mr. Yasir Billo is an attorney at law, a young man, a dynamic leader in the community who has really made a lot of achievements and has grown beyond the normal lawyers in the community. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's an honor and a pleasure.
It is really nice to have you. I know we've been trying for a little while to get you, but because of your busy schedule, you could not have made this talk show, if I want to put it like that. But thank God you are with us. And just to let our viewers worldwide know that Mr. Yasir, or Brother Yasir Billo, is involved in a lot of various organizations, which I will ask him to explain some of these organizations, briefly what they do and his involvement, like Cosmos and Engage and the Muslim Lawyers Association locally and nationally, etc. So let us know a little bit about your involvement with the Florida Muslim Bar Association.
Okay, so the Florida Muslim Bar Association was started about 12 years ago. I was one of the founders.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it's just a group of Muslim lawyers. And we started when there weren't a lot of Muslim lawyers around in South Florida. There was only about probably 10 of us. We started, and I was
because in those days, Muslims were only about becoming doctors.
Exactly right, exactly.
And you know what, that's what I want to talk to you about on this show, you know, as a young, dynamic lawyer involved in community services. That vision, that different thought, getting out of that box and that thinking that immigrants had once upon a time.
No, exactly right. In fact, my parents also wanted me to go into computers or engineering or something like that. And I just couldn't do it. That wasn't where my heart was. I really wanted to focus on doing law. The study of law always appealed to me. So this is where I went. Alhamdulillah, they were supportive of my choice once I made it. And then as I got along on the path and I was somewhat successful, they were pleased to see that there is some sort of focus on this that can be achieved. But the other thing is I've been able to guide other young students and say, okay, if you want to do this, this is the way you should do it and this is why you should do it, and try to help them that way.
Because previously most of the Muslim immigrants were into becoming engineers
and doctors.
They came to America with that dream.
That's right.
Right? But you know, when you look at the political arena, you don't normally find too many engineers who go up to be a congressman or president or a senator. Engineers or doctors.
Right.
It's mainly lawyers.
Exactly. As a lawyer, one of the things that you're trained to do is address the audience, right? And so as doctors, as engineers, you might miss that. If you don't have it naturally, you're not going to have it. But as a lawyer, you're trained
because they are trained to address a client.
Correct.
A patient. One at a time, if possible.
Exactly. And we're trained to address judges, juries, audiences, and know our audiences and know what to say. That's essentially why politics and law mix so well together.
I mean, I hope our medical doctors and our engineers don't feel like, but you know, they're good.
Yes.
They make the money. They make a lot of money in engineering and in the medical field, and you lawyers can milk them when they have all these cases of being sued. So the lawyers got their mission cut out also, right?
That's right. It's not easy defending them when they make a mistake, or even if they don't make a mistake.
And they're good at making money.
That's right.
That's what they do. I mean, lawyers don't just make money like that. You need those clients to make money.
Absolutely.
Technically.
They're our bosses, right?
Excellent.
I mean, that's who we work for.
So the Florida Muslim Bar Association, you were the founder.
I was one of the founders.
One of the founders.
Khurram Wahid, a couple of other attorneys who remain in this community, started it together. And it's been 12 years, and we've done amazing work. We've done so much good work educating judges at the highest levels about Islam and Muslims in the court system that it's unprecedented around the country. So that's one of the great things that came out of it.
No, that's interesting, and that's why you need lawyers to do that, because you have the law to back it up.
Right.
A regular layman can say this is Islamic, but if it does not coincide with the law of the land, then the judges, it would not make sense to them.
You know, but it's a classic example of how to make partners and allies. One of our best friends for the organization is a judge who is also Jewish and is also gay. And he is our best friend in the organization. And the reason he's our best friend is because he was appointed by the Florida Supreme Court as the diversity
So in one word,
person.
Jewish and gay, you can say gayish.
Yes, and he is the diversity person appointed by the Florida Supreme Court for all of the state of Florida. So if there are courthouses that we have trouble getting into, and there were, we would call him, and he would put in a call to the chief judge and say, you need to let the Florida Muslim Bar Association present to you because I've been mandated by the Florida Supreme Court to require you to do that.
And you know, that's why I really always love law. Actually, if I did not get into the Islamic field full time, I would have gone into law.
Yes.
Because from the Islamic perspective, what attracted me is Islamic jurisprudence. And that's what I really specialized in.
Right.
You know, even in South Florida, a lot of times, and many a times, we have done things, Alhikmat, Darul Ulum, and people were like, this is not even Islamic. This is crazy. What are they doing?
Right.
And then many years after, everybody doing the same thing.
Right, exactly.
Because I've always loved to challenge the Islamic law and jurisprudence, and like to go into the Sunnah and the Quran and see where are the flexibility and what do we have. Whereas regularly and normally a lot of our Muslims, they just traditionally, culturally, what they're accustomed to in Pakistan and India and Arabia and Africa and the Caribbean, that's what they know, that's what they do. They're not accustomed to, like even TV.
Right.
We were the first to record khutbas, 20, 25 years ago, and people would come and say, Sheikh, where is it permissible in hadith to be recording the khutbah? I'm like, you see me in the office, we'll talk about that. No, every masjid got a camera recording the khutbah.
And a TV screen during the masjid, during the
every masjid, whether the sheikhs don't agree in photos or not.
Absolutely.
If not for anything else, for security.
Yes.
Or for the ladies to sit on the other side.
Yes.
We broadcast our sermons live, and it's broadcast TV style. A couple of cameras we have that broadcast. So that is way beyond. Not many people do that. I don't even know who else does it. No. TV style. But that's the point I'm saying, jurisprudence, because there's a fiqh in Islamic law which says as long as it's halal with your eyes to see, then it's halal on the camera. This is just a reproduction and a reflection using technology.
The one thing I always loved about Islamic law was that unless it is explicitly haram, it is halal. And you have to start with the default that it's okay unless you can show me that it's haram. And most people nowadays start with the default that it's haram.
Excellent. And that's a problem a lot of people have. And our show is being viewed by people in the East, in the Far East, way all over. And that's a problem they have. If they have never known this thing, it's haram.
Right.
As long as it wasn't a practice and they didn't see it in their country or their people, it is haram. And that's a good point you made. Very powerful. It's haram.
Yeah, they start with the
without
default.
being proven.
Correct, exactly.
Whereas in Islam, everything is halal unless it's proven haram.
And I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she goes to Sunday school. And automatically she's being taught that the default is haram, and I'm trying to draw that out of her. No, the default has to be it's halal. Be cautious about halal, be cautious that there is a line, but you have to start with the default that it's halal until you can show me something that says it's haram. Haram is a big deal. It's not something that's supposed to be automatic.
No, you are totally right. And that's a problem I see people doing, and I'm sure you see that. It makes Islam so difficult.
Yes.
Islam is so easy.
Correct.
Islam is the easiest way. Allah tells us about fasting, prayer. He has designed this easy for us.
Yes.
If only we know it's
Yes.
for our betterment.
Yes.
And that's an interesting point, and I like that we can talk about. Because these people do not see this in their culture and tradition, they just brand it haram.
Correct.
Until they could prove it halal.
Exactly.
And whereas you just saying the opposite, which is what the Quran and the Sunnah says.
Exactly.
Actually, there were times Sahabas used to ask the Prophet about certain things, and he would say, listen, if Allah didn't tell you about it, consider it a mercy from Allah.
Right.
If He didn't make that forbidden for you,
Yes.
consider it a mercy from Allah. That
Exactly.
is so clear-cut.
Exactly. And this is one of the troubles we run into with the other organization that I'm involved in, Engage. It's a political activist organization, essentially getting Muslims back into the political arena in an educated, collective fashion. And one of the pushbacks we still get is voting is haram.
Interesting.
And, I mean, it's incredible that throughout the country we still get that pushback. Voting is haram. You can't involve yourself in this politics. We're having debates with people about this still after everything that's happened in this country. You still want to have this debate? It's incredible.
No, that's really sad. You know.
It really
you know, I
is.
tell people that politics is a very interesting thing. I love politics. Believe me, I love politics.
Yeah.
I just love it. It's fun. I stay tuned to listen to both sides, whether
Sure.
it's Fox News or CNN. I
Right.
just love, because I know in
Absolutely.
Obama days, Fox News ready to kill Obama.
Right.
CNN ready to kill Trump.
Right.
Good or bad.
Yes.
They just don't care.
Yes.
But that's the fun. And that's where you listen to both sides and you get the balance.
Absolutely.
And you can figure out what is fake news.
Correct. No,
Right.
exactly. What each one is not telling you.
And what they're hiding to support their
Exactly.
own vision.
Exactly.
And promote. But the reason why I personally, and I've had many opportunity, Brother Yasir, I've had many opportunity. I mean, a lot of my friends, former prime ministers, personally asked me to get on the board. Personally become senator, get in this, promise me this, that, and the. But because of my religious position,
Sure.
I do find it difficult. And I want to share this for our religious
Please.
people, as you brought up the engaged situation. Now, if you're religiously involved, like I'm in full-time dawah, I'm on the pulpit, it does personally conflict in me getting up and talking about certain things,
Yes.
and then I go on a political platform and I speak about things opposite to that.
Yes.
It is a conflict of interest.
Agree.
It is very controversial. So it puts my position, and my priority should be my religious position.
Agree.
But that's for me.
Yes.
Not for you, not for the rest of doctors and lawyers and businessmen. They are into 99% other profession and career, and they should get involved. You need that Muslim participation, their involvement. They cannot sit home and quarrel and criticize the government and whichever country. And we're saying this not only for America,
No.
worldwide.
Exactly.
Sitting home and arguing and quarreling does not solve it. You need to get involved. Not me. I got a different responsibility. You have the religious people support. And when I say religious, the imams,
Yes.
the sheikhs.
Yes.
Because it definitely, you cannot be a religious leader. I cannot be a sheikh on a pulpit and on the platform say, yes, I'm going to build a wall. And I know that's not possible right now.
Right.
So they'll know I'm lying.
Sure.
So there are times you got to tell a lot of white lies down there.
Agreed.
But that does not mean the regular Muslim community should not get involved.
No, and exactly. And the thing is that we're talking about simple things. Voter registration. We're not saying we'll come into your masjid and explain to people why they should vote for him or her.
Yes.
We're saying let us at least register people who want to register to vote. Let us show them why it's important to
And
register.
that's their rights.
And that's something we're getting pushback on still to this
Oh, you're
day.
kidding. You're
That's
kidding.
the amazing thing, where they won't even let us set up for voter registration, something as simple as that, where all we're doing is empowering the Muslim and saying, look, you need to be educated about this. You can get educated on your own time, but at least register to vote so that you can vote when the time comes.
So why don't you guys in Mgate set up, don't wait for midterm election and, the presidential election, whatever.
Right.
I think throughout the year, you should have a program just
Exactly.
trying to educate Muslims on why they should get involved or why they should use the minimum, their voting rights.
No, and that's what we're pushing for in 2019, because as you know, 2020 is going to be a big year.
Of course.
And so 2019, we're pushing for that, where we're going to be educating voters on not necessarily who to vote for or how to vote.
Definitely.
Just how to understand how to vote.
And why you vote.
And why vote.
And as a Muslim, how important it is to vote in the United States of America.
Exactly right.
You see, it's not that once upon a time Muslims were not a number.
Correct.
And it didn't matter in the political arena.
Exactly.
Now, in the political arena, the name of Muslims are mentioned.
Yes.
Good or bad.
Yes.
In the political arena, you have those who would look for an opportunity to target Muslims,
Yes.
look for an opportunity to promote Muslims.
Yes.
So if the Muslims not getting involved and not letting their voice be heard, we are really slapping ourselves.
And the other thing is, we have so many very talented people in a number of different fields. For example, school teachers and administrators. If we can get a good school teacher or administrator on a school board position in somewhere in Florida, for example, that would be fantastic.
Of course.
That would be a Muslim voice on a very small board, making actual policy decisions that affect more of our kids than a regular Islamic school might. And that's incredible. That's something that we need to do more of. But without 100% participation from the Muslim community, it's just never going to get
So
done.
what kind of programs you guys are thinking about to go to Muslim communities or mosques and try to mobilize them, motivate them to why it is important to vote?
So one of the challenges.
You see my
we
point.
have-
Forget about
absolutely.
voting in midterm
No.
or in 220, but I'm talking about why you should get involved.
One of the challenges we're having is, one, there are mosques like yourself that are extremely receptive to us and will let us come in and do these. And so we're planning those. But in addition to that, we're also trying to figure out how to target the Muslims who don't normally go to a mosque. A lot of our Muslim sisters don't go to a mosque normally. There are a lot of Muslim brothers who don't normally go to a mosque, but they're also affected. And so they're also our responsibility.
Definitely.
And so we need to figure out how to reach them. And that's what we're trying to figure out right now, is how best to reach
And
them.
they are the majority.
There are, exactly.
Listen, it's only 10% go to masjid.
That's the point, exactly. So then how do we reach the 90% that
only
don't?
10%. If you
Right.
check South Florida,
Yes.
what you guys have an estimate? 100,000 Muslims?
Correct.
Okay, you got 40 masajids. Okay?
Yes.
If you put 200 people in every masjid,
That's exactly.
well, you only talking about
8,000.
10,000 people.
That's it.
10%.
That's it. Even at Eid, all you're getting is 20% max.
This is my point. 10%. Now, I said 200 because you got those who will have 500-600 people, but that's just 3 or 4.
Right.
Others are into 50, 60, 100. So
Correct.
10% for Jummah.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. And most people don't realize
They
that
don't
the number
realize.
is so low. So one of the focuses that I've been trying to focus on with Engage is how to draw out those others. The Muslim Bar Association is one of those. A lot of our members aren't mosque goers. They're younger, or they're female, or they're just, whatever. And we need to reach out to them. They're just as concerned about these things on the politics as we are. We're just not reaching out to them. We're not doing a good enough job, because it's easy to go to a mosque and say, okay, mosques help us, and mosques are really willing to help most of them. But
that's only 10%.
That's it. And so we need to reach the rest of them, and that's hopefully programs like yours will help.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why we like to support, as I was mentioning to you before we came on the show. I don't go to too many programs physically, but my support, Alhikmat's, whether the cameramen are there or our support through social media, something we try to support in whatever. But that's a good point. You need to get that 90%.
We have to.
Besides calculating 40, 45 mosques and 10%, when I go to ceremonies and weddings and I see these 400-500 people,
yes,
there are people there 90% I've never seen in a masjid. And I've been to almost most masjids, not at the 100%, but you don't see them. And they themselves confess they don't go. Their profession, their career, they don't go.
My law partner, she's Muslim. She's a Muslim, practicing Muslim, prays, fasts, all of those things. They don't regularly go to a masjid.
No.
And it's not, they just don't feel like it's a necessary part of their lives anymore, because the masjid isn't offering what they want. The masjid close to their house isn't offering what they want. And so that's one of the good things that we're trying to do, is trying to reach more people like that and see how we can make
And that's a worldwide problem, It is. I don't care whether it's Pakistan or Arabia.
No,
you see, what happens is that you have these masajid. So we see it filled.
Yes.
But in comparison to the thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, these mosques are filled.
Correct.
But are they sufficient mosques for all your people? If you had sufficient mosques, you will not find them filled.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's
100%.
what makes people think, oh, a lot of Muslims, a lot of people. But there are 90% more out there.
But that's one of the things that we were talking about before as well, is yet we continue to pour resources and money into institutions that are only serving 10, 20, I mean, really doing it well, 20% of the community.
And that's Eid.
And that doesn't, right, and that's Eid. And that doesn't really make a lot of sense in terms
Doesn't.
in terms of spending our resources and efforts. Things like the institution that you've built here, this is amazing. More like this in other avenues of society and life would be incredible. I think that's where we need to focus more on.
And if you look at the Jewish Christian institutions, yes. All right, and you made a very powerful point there. The mosque, you have millions spent. Don't even talk about the chandelier.
Yes.
Just that is not even turned on for
yes,
beauty.
Correct.
I don't know when they put it on, but forget it. It's not used. It's not used.
No.
So it's there, and money is spent only for beautification, which is
yes.
good, mashallah, not used. And then when you want to use it for community services, you have a big percentage of that congregation,
Correct.
because they are the cultural, traditional people who go to mosque regularly.
Yes.
I mean, they will now criticize. So you got to do it with a pinch of salt, as people
yes.
say. How you bring these non-Muslims, how you bring this politician,
yes.
how you handle this community case situation in your mosque. So in Christian Jewish facilities, you will notice they always have some other institution registered with the church.
Yes.
Or they have some other building with different things that go on there.
Absolutely.
Different things. So instead of spending the millions that you just said on one building that is limited to only Jummah,
yes.
Sunday madrasa, evening madrasa classes,
yes.
whatever, Eid, they got all these 24/7 community activities can go on there.
Correct. The JCC is a perfect example, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Jewish community centers, they're all across the country. Recently in Florida, there was before the elections, there was some bombing issue, and so the JCC hosted a press conference.
Yes.
These are things that are regularly done at the JCC and churches that mosques aren't even well equipped enough to do. We don't even have things like the American flag, the Florida flag to put behind a press conference, let alone cameras and everything else that
don't have the equipment,
to do that.
And many of them may not welcome it.
Correct. That's the other part of it, and so things like that. We just don't pay attention to where we're living. We want to somehow live in a bubble while also reaping the benefit of the United States.
And that's a sad thing.
And that doesn't make any sense.
That's very sad. It really misrepresents that vision of Islam and the leadership. I don't know, but it's people like you who got to make some of these changes. I can support it from a religious point of view, but what people look at us as sheikhs and scholars say, yeah, these guys are just hardcore and they just talk like that. But when you, the professionals, people in the medical field, the law, legal field, you guys come out and show that blend that you're involved in Islam as well as in your profession, that's where we get the middle path. Because once upon a time, in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, the Caribbean, wherever, it was two separate parts with a big wall.
Yes.
The professionals in the academic field and the religious people.
That's
they
right.
did not see eye to eye.
Correct. And I really think for the people who are going to resist, they're going to resist no matter what.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, because originally I always used to think and look up to people like you and say, you have the authority because you have the Islamic knowledge and the title to go with it, and you'll be able to convince people. And those people aren't convinced by you. And then we come in as professionals and we tell them from a professional standpoint, look, this is also what's necessary, just like Shaikh Shafayat has been telling you, and they don't listen to us. So at that point then, okay, you're just not going to listen to reason.
Yeah, because they're going to say, the other side is going to say, well, that's just his religious, he's too religious. Or they are professional, they have nothing to do with religion.
Right.
And that middle path is not there.
It's not there.
But do you know, brothers, Yasir, that's what Islam, our Prophet, peace be upon him, came to establish.
Correct.
The middle path.
No,
that is what used to take place in the historic days.
Exactly right.
You had the tyrant rulers, the Pharaoh and the pharaohs and all these leaders in the different times. You had the prophets and the religious leaders. The chiefs in the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, had their own style. Our Prophet, peace be upon him, combined that and made the middle path. And he said, we are a middle path ummah.
Right. And he brought all of those together.
Yes.
But it just doesn't, people are so stubborn nowadays. I just don't know how to break them out of that. What they want to do, as you mentioned, is sit in their comfortable places and complain about what's going on, but not do anything to change it.
But I think now is a time where, our viewers worldwide, our professionals, our doctors, our engineers, our accountants, our teachers, they need to show that blend. For too long, it was a total separation.
Agree.
It was always a separation, two different parts.
No, and one of the amazing things is, look, as crazy as politics are nowadays, we still have 2 Muslim women who were elected to U.S. Congress. We have.
I thought it was, 2 Muslim women.
Muslim women
four people.
Now it's actually 3 people, and then Keith Ellison actually dropped his position and ran for Attorney General of a state and won that.
Yes.
So now we have 3 Muslims in the U.S. Congress, 1 state Attorney General who's a Muslim, several other positions. So things are going to change. I just. You and I know I'm very impatient, so I want them to change faster, and they're not changing fast enough.
And I love that shift. That is so nice, and that's why now you need the grassroots Muslims to get even more involved.
Exactly.
Because if at that level you have Muslims in Congress, so the voice of Muslims will be known publicly.
Exactly.
So when these people make a point and they don't have the regular grassroots around to support it, you won't get it.
No, and the people who came before, Keith Ellison, for example, swore in on a Quran owned by Thomas Jefferson. So these 2 Muslim women who are coming in are going to do the same thing. So that it's in the Jefferson Library, there's no controversy as to whose Quran that is. They're going to swear in using a Quran that Thomas Jefferson owned. How could you be any more American? And to show that combination of American and Muslim, that's the perfect example. I think that's hopefully what the young people will see and follow.
This is the time. But you know what? We got to go on a short break. And when we come back, now that we got in this little political arena here, I would like you to continue the conversation more on why. I know we were talking about the involvement of the general people voting, which is excellent. But on this second half of the show, could we kind of concentrate in you mobilizing more of these professionals, why they need to get involved?
Sure.
Professionals really need to
They really
get
do.
involved in the political arena, be involved in Muslim institutions to help establish other institutions that can work together with the mosques. The masjid, the mosque, that can enhance the building of our community.
Definitely.
So it has been a pleasure talking to Brother Yasir Billo, an attorney at law. He has a lot of experience with different organizations, law associations, Cosmos, a Muslim organization here in South Florida, Engage, an organization that mobilizes people to vote and get involved in the political arena, etc. When we come back, we will continue this conversation from a very humanitarian and political point of view, inshallah.
Alhikmat Dawah Services is offering a Ramadan Umrah trip visiting Medina and Mecca on May 11th to May 20th, 2019. Group will be led by Shaikh Shafayat with an approximate cost of $24.95 per person, departing from Miami, Florida, inshallah. If you are interested in this package, please contact Alhikmat Dawah Services at USA Office 954-986-0158 or our Trinidad office 868-325-8276, or you can email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com. Alhikmat 2019 tours from Miami, Florida to a 7-day Jerusalem tour, February 17th to February 23rd, visiting holy sites of the 3 Abrahamic religions. Umrah in Ramadan, visiting Mecca and Medina, 10-day tour from May 11th through May 20th. And finally, Dubai and India, 10-day tour from October 13th to October 23rd, visiting Taj Mahal, historic Islamic sites, and many, many more. The group will be led by Shaikh Shafayat. Contact Alhikmat office at 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158, or you can email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com. Alhikmat Tours and Travel Services now offers visa processing services to any country, also offering Umrah trips, Dubai and India tours, and many other countries. For more details, you can contact Alhikmat Dawah Services at 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158, or you can also email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Who is Who in America on Alhikmat TV 24/7 online. Once more, it is again an opportunity and a privilege to have with us in Alhikmat studio attorney at law Mr. Yasir Billo.
Thank you very much.
Again, welcome back to the show. It's a pleasure for our new viewers. Just to let you know, Mr. Yasir, and we know each other for many, many years. I say Brother Yasir, but he has promoted and advanced so much in his career, in his leadership, in his involvement in different organizations in South Florida and national, that his experience and as a young dynamic person is very important for our professionals out there to learn from and to benefit from.
Thank you. I appreciate those kind words.
Thank you, thank you. So what would you suggest to professionals? You know, I already said in the first session, you know, religious leaders like myself, even though we're involved in different things, I don't recommend them neither going on the political platform. Right. Yeah, they go on the support, make an invocation, support someone going up, all that is clean. But you yourself going and asking for vote, it does complicate the situation. It contradicts a sheikh on a pulpit saying one thing,
yes.
On the other hand, he says something, it doesn't come to pass, and then they say you're a liar.
Yes.
So we don't want that. But the regular professionals, you know, people out there who are just into money and profession and career, what would you tell them about their involvement and why it is important for them to get involved in politics?
So what I normally tell people is whether you're a doctor, engineer, lawyer, journalist, whatever your professional career is, that's your profession. You should also focus maybe an hour a day, maybe an hour a week, maybe 2 hours a week, some time, set it aside to do something for the community. And most of us, what we do for the community is focus on Islamic schools or mosques. That's good. But when I say community, I mean the larger community where you're living.
Humanity in general.
Your neighbors, your homeowners association,
yeah.
Whatever the case is, however you can give back, because that helps. If you're a doctor and you're not on a voluntary board for a hospital or a local clinic, you're failing. If you're a lawyer and you're not on several different boards because people are looking for lawyers all the time to get free advice from, you can give back by giving an hour a week, two hours a week. That's not a lot of your time. If you can do just that for the average person, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to take the step further beyond that, go to a regular city commission meeting. Sit at a commission meeting for 2 hours, participate and give feedback to the commissioners. That's an easy way to stay involved, because once you see the process and you learn the process, then you might want to get involved and make a change in the process as well. Or you might want to say, you know what, there are 5 or 7 commissioners on this commission and 2 of them are really terrible. I should really get involved.
Mm-hmm.
They're making all of the wrong decisions. But until you see it firsthand, you're not actually going to be able to do it. What happens is we want to stay in our cocoons. It's very comfortable, right? We work, we go home, we play with our kids, we spend time with our wives, and then we go back to work the next day. And we don't really want to break out of that. Our weekends are for resting. We don't really want to break out. I keep telling people, especially nowadays, since 9/11, I've been telling people, but especially nowadays, you need to get more involved. You need to learn what's going on out there. What are the decisions that are being made that relate to your business, that relate to your home, that relate to your taxes locally? I'm not talking about go sit in Congress. Not everybody's going to run for Congress. But at least do that. At least go and sit at a city commission meeting once every 2 months and see what they're talking about and how they're making the decisions that they're making. Because some things will shock you and other things will disgust you, and hopefully that will motivate you to get involved.
You know, you mentioned something which is very interesting. Once upon a time, in America, or maybe in the world, Muslims, and we're talking about Muslims.
Yes.
Because that's our target here. We Muslims serving humanity.
Yes.
So it's not about we are just about Muslims, Muslims serving humanity. Muslims really, as you rightly said, believe they go to work, become a doctor, an engineer, a professional, make a lot of money, get a big house, a lot of money, a lot of cars, a lot of properties. And they thought that that was a major feather in the cap for them.
Exactly.
But credit got to go to Mr. Trump.
Yes.
He exposed them. You know what that proved when Trump started downplaying Muslims? It showed it doesn't matter how many doctors you are Muslims.
That's right.
Because on one hand, President Obama got up and said, yes, these are people who are doctors and they're engineers and they've contributed to this society, which is superb. We knew that.
Yes.
But that did not make a difference, Brother Yasir.
No.
Did it?
No,
I mean,
not
we are
at
a
all.
living example.
Exactly right.
When Trump came, he put a dump on that.
Yes.
He said, get back, get out.
Yes.
Gingrich said, every practicing Muslim is a radical. Find a way to deport them. So all these Muslims, professionals, billionaires, millionaires who thought that we were in our own world.
That's right.
And we are kings of, but that's what you call a one-eye man leading the blind. He thought that he was the king in his jungle until
Exactly
Trump
right.
came and said, you guys are nobody.
You know, and for the longest time, I'm sure you know this better than anyone else. You've been involved in the Dawah world for 40 plus years. But for the longest time, Muslims went by, if you're Muhammad, you're Mo, if you're, you know, or Mike, or something, you know, that sort of thing. You were trying to actively suppress your own identity instead of telling people, I'm Muslim, I'm a practicing Muslim, but look, I'm also helping community.
And I contribute to the
and
society.
I contribute to society. Instead of doing that, we were in our little bubbles, and our parents were, you know, just doing what they were required to do to make ends meet and to grow their life.
Yes.
But beyond that, they weren't really contributing to society.
Definitely. That's why Trump came and made them all look like you're a nobody.
Exactly right.
And now they realize all the doctors and all the engineers and all the money and all the professionals that they are.
Right.
And while another president recognized it,
yes,
President Obama spoke out on the powerful positions that Muslims have contributed, but that was just a minority, and that they are contributing by being these people. But by being these people, they did not do anything for humanity.
No, exactly right.
And now when President Trump came and he said, you're nothing, you're doing nothing, now it woke us up.
And the problem is now, if it wakes you up, great. Never too late, right? At least let's get involved now. But a lot of it, in the eyes of the average American, seems like it's reactive. If you were proactive, it's much
That's
better,
the problem.
right? And so if you're doing it just out of the goodness of your heart, everybody recognizes that.
Yes.
But if you're also doing it to convince people that you're not a bad person, people also recognize that
Oh,
double motive.
definitely.
And that's not a good look.
That's not a good look. Yeah, that's, you know, I love that example because, you know, ever since I know myself, I've always been involved in interfaith.
Correct.
Back, I'm talking about
Sure.
ever since.
Yes.
Ever since. 45 years ago, since I started my whole life in public work, etc., from the Caribbean. So 9/11 and interfaith wasn't new for me.
Right.
I was already
Yes.
in interfaith many years
Exactly.
in those days. So that's the good point you're saying. And now I like the point. And we gotta talk about that before we conclude this show. You bring an interesting point. If people are just reacting, it looks fake.
It does. 100%.
It's not that you are naturally a community person who wants to get involved. That brings me to the point now of the Democrats and the Republicans. You know, we want to get a little, not controversial, but let's get realistic.
Yes.
Do you think a lot of Democrats out there are supporting Muslims because the Democrats lost?
No, I think the Democrats are supporting Muslims just because they want the votes. Honestly, I don't think it's...
You know, let's be real.
I don't think it's about values. I don't think it's about anything.
No,
except
there are
for
some of
class.
them who would,
Sure.
who have been always before.
Sure.
Now, they are Democrats
Correct.
who have always been friends of Muslims,
Agreed.
work together. And that's the point. I love that point you made. You see, as a lawyer, you could look at things because you're designed to look at the fine points. Lawyers were designed. You want to get something done, take it to your lawyers. They will look at the fine points. I like that point. They were there, they were friends, interfaith, community, co-workers. Boom, suddenly Democrats lost and Democrats have become the best of friends with Muslims.
That's right.
Because Trump have been putting Muslims down.
That's right.
So Democrats are like, come on guys, be our friends, we're your friends. And the whole campaign about Muslim ban, the Democrats were making that so loud that
Yes.
I'm like, what is going on?
But it's incredible. 3-4 years ago, the same thing with the media, right? The national media, Muslims by majority were saying the national media is anti-Muslim. And now the same media people, not just the organizations, but the same actual media people are now all of a sudden pro-Muslim.
Yeah. Do you see how they operate?
And right, and we don't see that. We fall over ourselves to
Our
try
Muslims
to get to
need
them.
to be vigilant.
Correct.
You know, like when Trump made this statement against Muslims and the ban, man, the national media were all over him.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
When Trump decided to choose Saudi Arabia to be the first Muslim country to go to, You didn't hear nothing much about it.
That's right. That's right.
You don't hear nothing much about it. The
Exactly.
Muslim country President Trump chose to be the
His-
first country.
His first visit overseas was a Muslim country,
Muslim
and
country.
he wasn't just addressing Saudi. There were at least 30 other Muslim leaders there,
Yes.
and he's
The
addressing
Muslim
basically
world.
the Muslim world.
Yes.
And
Media was like,
No.
you had to Google that. It passed through like a flip news. Boom.
correct.
You see why Muslims, and I mean as a lawyer, let's be alert.
Yes.
You need, the communities need, and that's what Engage needs to tell people, always be alert.
Yes.
Where there is the need, you do what you have to do, but do not get fooled.
Correct.
Do not get trapped, whether it be the Republicans. And, I think that Muslims need to be involved in both parties.
100%. And honestly, that's why I'm
They've
involved.
got to be involved
I'm
because,
actually a Republican.
because Republicans, and that's good. Congratulations.
That's why I'm involved, to be honest.
When
with
I
you.
look at Republicans,
Yes.
and I speak very fair and very clear out there.
Yes.
Republicans got a lot of interesting values.
Yes.
Which really contributes more for the value of this community and this country. Not just Muslims,
Agreed.
people.
Agree.
Democrats are more humanitarian. They're loving, they're
Yes.
nice, they're really good. And I both got their dynamism
Right.
and they're good, like everything else. But Muslims got to be very careful. They don't play the wrong game.
We can't continue to be naive.
Yes, because they have always done that in the past. You go
Exactly.
big block vote with Republican, you come back Democrat.
Exactly.
Make up your mind.
Yes.
Get a few people involved.
Yes.
Jews and Christians doing it, and I'm not saying anything wrong. Jews
No.
and Christians do that.
Absolutely.
Whichever party wins, Jews got people there in
Yes.
Congress. Whichever party wins, Christians got people there.
100%.
Why is it if a Republican win, Muslims are like losers? Or if Democrats wins, Muslims are like losers?
Right.
In Bush days
Yes.
or in Obama.
Yes.
How long are we going to play that game?
Exactly right. No, that's exactly right. And we need to be a broader based community.
Yes.
We can't shout each other down either because of a difference of opinion on politics. We need to understand we're all working toward the same goal. That's the main thing. And if we're working
The
toward the
country,
same goal,
the community,
correct,
humanity.
it shouldn't matter which side of the political aisle we're on. We can still shake hands and be brothers and sisters.
And
move
we
forward.
should do that. Because
Absolutely.
both sides, that's the constitutional operation here. That's the
Yes.
politics here. Yes, you got independence, you got this. But that's how it goes here. And if you want to benefit the country and humanity and not let it be just a party,
Right.
then Muslims need to get out of that cocoon now of being a Democrat cocoon.
Yes.
You have Muslims who are
Exactly
Democrats,
right.
go ahead, be Democrats.
Exactly.
Muslims are Republican, and you need to pray together.
Yes.
Stay together, not
Yes.
look down at one person you in the mosque. Listen, the churches, the synagogues I go to churches and synagogues all the
Yes.
time. And I know there are people who are Republicans and they are Democrats. So whenever I go to a church, I got to just speak that's how I am. I speak very national. And I tell them, like, I went to a church once, right? Just recently, last year, earlier this year. And there were this bunch of Democrats who were putting down, well, no, it wasn't a church, it was a clubhouse.
Okay.
And they were putting down this white woman because Trump won election and they were just
Right.
everything bad about him.
Right.
And I was one of the panelists on stage. Most of the panelists, actually all, were in favor of this other panelist who were all anti-Trump after one of the recent gun violence situation in America. And they were putting down these people who voted Trump.
Yeah.
So one lady had really got up and she had shown her support for Trump. And when everybody started putting her down, like a Muslim,
Right.
I got up on stage and I said, please, I need to intervene. This
amazing.
woman has equal rights like any one of you.
That's incredible.
And she has a voting rights to vote for Democrat or Republican.
Yes.
And I don't think she should be put down for voting for Trump. That's her rights. And if we disagree with Trump for certain things,
Sure.
the man has a lot of values otherwise. That's why today he's a billionaire and a successful businessman. I don't agree with everything he says.
Right.
I don't agree with how he says it. And even his own friends don't.
Right.
But where he's good and dynamic and powerful, you got to give him credit.
Correct.
And I think that's what a lot of Muslims are making a major mistake with.
I agree 100%.
They're not giving him credit for where he's successful, and that's what politics is all about. Even Obama will give him credit
Right.
where it's due.
Correct.
That's the politics of this country.
Exactly. I really think one of our dreams should be that one day we have 15, 20, 30 members of Congress in the U.S. Congress, and there is a Muslim caucus that unites all of them under
Excellent.
that Muslim caucus umbrella, where they're discussing their separate Muslim-related issues, and then they can be on different sides of the aisle as well. Republican Democrat. I think that would be a dream of mine.
Definite, and that's what we need. Otherwise, we are going to look
Correct.
like a bunch of biased people. Huh?
Exactly.
Let's be very honest. So we don't want to wait for that problem to happen, and then Muslim says, okay, we jumped around, mistake. Let's now share these 4 Muslims and put 2 in Republican. Why wait? Then you're going to look fake again.
Same, exact. The reactive mentality comes up again.
Let it be real. Let people know who go into Republican, become Republicans, go into Congress. You could give that vision as a powerful Muslim thinker, leadership, and you are fighting a Muslim democratic leader in Congress with values.
Yes.
And both are showing their points.
Exactly.
You know what a bloom and brightness that will be for Islam? How both sides and 2 different parties can shine the light of Islam like the Islamic schools of thought.
Yes, that's exactly what we need.
That's the level we need to get to.
That's what we need.
I mean, do you agree with that?
No, 100%.
No, I like the idea you said Republican. You made me feel very happy. Because a lot of times I talk to people and they're like, because they just look at what happened.
That's what I was seeing. What I was seeing was, I wasn't involved in politics until about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, but what I was seeing was everything is shifting Democrat and nobody was speaking for my values. So I said, you know what, I'll just get involved. I have a limited amount of time, but I'll get involved and speak for everybody, but also the Republican Muslims. They're out there. They're hiding right now, but they're out there.
And I think a lot of people went Democrat only because Trump said Muslim ban.
Exactly.
That statement licked him up very bad.
Yes, agreed.
But you know what? They did not see anything else that the Republican does that is really in line with Islam and the Muslims. But a time is going to come, Brother Yasir, where when the Democrats get back, listen, and I'm saying this and you could send this out to your friends, when the Democrats get back into those positions and they do not need the Muslims, they'll say, listen guys, you guys are not on the same values with us.
That's right.
We think different, we operate different, we eat different, our style is different, our vision is different. We only needed you for the vote. Bye-bye. Then the Muslims are going to go back.
Shift back.
And they don't want that.
And it'll be too late at that point. That's the problem. If
then
we
you're going to look fake.
Exactly. If we abandon one side over the other just for our political short-term gain, that's going to be a disaster for us.
Total. Then you will not be trusted on both sides.
Exactly right.
And you want to let America know that we're not like that.
Yes.
It's just the regular people not thinking jump these wagons.
Right.
But you need people like yourself and leaders out there who will make this sound.
Yeah, we have to hold on to our values. I mean, that's what Islam teaches us, right?
Yes.
Is to have a set of values, hold on to them, and then you can differ about everything else.
Yeah.
But if you keep wavering on your values, nobody's going to trust you.
You cannot.
Yeah, nobody's going
You have to have what you stand for. And,
Exactly.
and you know, last but not least, the parties out there and the politicians out there need to look at Muslims as leaders and thinkers.
Yes.
And you associate with a party based on certain values that you stand for.
Yes.
And you will be totally respected because that's the constitution and that's your rights.
Yes.
But not because you just disagree with one person or one thing and now it looks, you see, what I am scared of is that the government of America start looking at all Muslims as a bunch of opportunists and parasites.
That's exactly.
And that's all they're just swinging about. Then you have no value, man.
Exactly right. We can't be that. We have to have a set of values that we stand by, that everybody should be able to know. That you're a Muslim, oh, okay, we know that these are your basic set of values, and then where do you stand in terms of politics? That's a different subject.
Of course.
We have to have our basic values in order.
And you totally equally right on whichever party you go on.
Correct.
But let the intention be right, the purpose be right, and not just a parasite and an opportunist. We got to clear that point.
Yes.
But I love that. We have spoken a lot beyond the time. I know we have gone beyond the time. Our editor's going to have to do some cut and fit on this program because these are interesting issues.
Definitely.
These are the issues of today.
Definitely.
And a lot of our intellectuals are missing that point. And then
Yes.
the lay people have no one to lead them.
Yes.
And maybe we should continue this show on another
it'd be great.
program. I would love to
be
because we have an area to target. A lot of these problems are coming from Islamic scholars.
I agree.
Clerics.
Unfortunately,
Muslim
that's
organizations.
all around the world.
I would
We've seen
love that we could come back probably and discuss this because I know we're talking of an issue, but where's the problem?
I agree.
It is a lot of Muslim clerics,
Yeah.
Muslim organizations who are giving this message out there and twisting the masses without them thinking. And the
Because
poor
it's-
people are just following blindly.
And it's their personal benefit, you know that. Unfortunately, it's hidden agendas, personal benefits that they get from them, from their donors, from whoever else, and so they're leading people on a path
Yes.
that they should have no.
The Muslim cleric
Yes.
or sheikh is being paid by a certain organization,
Exactly.
so he goes with their flow.
Yes.
The organization, as you rightly said, got donors who have a certain vision, but that's not fair. That's not what is best for Islam.
Exactly right.
So I think we need to make that a topic.
I
Should
would
we
love
make
to
that
do
on another show called Global Issues?
That's a great idea.
And let's target that,
Let's
because
do that.
that's where the problems are.
I agree.
And until you don't get those problems out, we won't get the mission going.
No, I totally agree.
So anyhow, thank you very much, Brother Yasir.
Thank
It has
you
been
for
a
having
pleasure
me.
talking to you.
Thank you.
I'm sure audience would have had a total different vision today after listening to this conversation. It is totally a whole different world. So our viewers out there, thank you very much for viewing. Today we are blessed to have in Alhikmat studio attorney at law, Mr. Yasir Billo, very intelligent, young, dynamic leader in South Florida on the National Muslim Bar Association, the Florida Muslim Bar Association, Cosmos, Engage. He's involved in a lot of social and community activities, etc. So it has been a pleasure to have him with us. You can view this show on YouTube, on Facebook, on Alhikmat TV, on other national television network. So it's always a pleasure to have you. Keep tuning to Alhikmat TV 24/7 online. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhikmat Dawah Services is offering a Ramadan Umrah trip visiting Medina and Mecca on May 11th to May 20th, 2019. Group will be led by Shaikh Shafayat with an approximate cost of $24.95 per person, departing from Miami, Florida, inshallah. If you are interested in this package, please contact Alhikmat Dawah Services at USA Office 954-986-0158 or our Trinidad office 868-325-8276, or you can email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com. Alhikmat 2019 tours from Miami, Florida to a 7-day Jerusalem tour, February 17th to February 23rd, visiting holy sites of the 3 Abrahamic religions. Umrah in Ramadan, visiting Mecca and Medina, 10-day tour from May 11th through May 20th. And finally, Dubai and India, 10-day tour from October 13th to October 23rd, visiting Taj Mahal, historic Islamic sites, and many, many more. The group will be led by Shaikh Shafayat. Contact Alhikmat office at 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158, or you can email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com. Alhikmat Tours and Travel Services now offers visa processing services to any country, also offering Umrah trips, Dubai and India tours, and many other countries. For more details, you can contact Alhikmat Dawah Services at 1-800-804-0267 or 954-986-0158, or you can also email us at alhikmat@alhikmat.com.
All praises are due to Allahu Allah. All praises are due to Allahu Allah. Allahu 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 Allah. Allahu.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. If you would like to dedicate copies of one of these publications as Sadaqah Jariyah, continuous blessings for your parents or dear ones who have passed away, or fi sabilillah, in the path of Allah, please give us a call so we can place your names on these dedicated publications. You can call us at 954-986-0158, or you can also visit us at www.alhikmat.com.
Allah is the creator of different faces. Allah is the creator of all races. Allahu, 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 Allah.
Salam. Truly he is the one, he has no father or son.